With the impending snowstorm, this is the perfect time to learn about the library's digital resources. Today, we are lucky to be joined by Brittany, Head of Knowledge and Learning Services at Darien Library. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that programs at Darien Library are made possible by the annual Friends of the Library campaign. We thank you for your support to make programs like this, as well as our collections available to the community. And here's Brittany.
Hi, everyone. So happy that you joined us today. So I'm going to be going through quite a few of the platforms we have for our online resources today. At any point, if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or if you want to put it in the chat, Amanda's going to monitor that and she'll be able to let me know. I'll stop at the end of every platform and open up the floor for any questions before we move on to the next one, okay? I'm going to have Amanda put this URL in the chat for you, if you don't mind. This is the page that has the links out to all of our digital content. It's darienlibrary.org/digital. You can access it from the homepage if you hover over the word books and then click on ebooks and downloads. That brings you to a page that looks just like this. If you scroll down, you'll start to see all of our digital apps. Libby by Overdrive, Hoopla Digital, Acorn TV, RB Digital, IndieFlix, and Quello Concerts. So we're going to go through these one at a time, and I'm going to start with the Overdrive, Libby by Overdrive. One note that I do want to tell you before we begin. These apps are for a variety of types of information: ebooks, e-audiobooks, movies, television shows, music, etc. Some of them will show up in our regular catalog. So if you are at the homepage and you search for something in this search box, as you probably have done before, a lot of the time you will see e-audiobooks or ebooks as an option, and they'll link out to these platforms. But you should know that because these apps contain hundreds of thousands of titles, they don't all show up in our actual catalog. So for many of these, it's actually going to be better for you to search for things inside that platform itself. And I'll go through that as we talk today. So I'm going to start by going to Libby by Overdrive. On this page, you can see a direct link into the Overdrive catalog. So I'm just going to open this in a new tab for us, and we can take a look. So Overdrive, or it could be Libby, depending on the phone or device that you're using, is for ebooks and e-audiobooks. You can use it on a computer, on your tablet, or on your mobile device. This is the Darien Library homepage for Libby. A few things to know. Whenever you initially set up your account with Libby or Overdrive, you will select your library and then enter your library card number. I already am logged in, but instead of seeing my account here, you would just see a button telling you to log in. We'll ask you to choose Darien Library and then enter your Darien Library card number, and you're good to go. If you do not have a Darien Library card number, you'll need to select the library that corresponds with your library card number. So if you're from Norwalk, choose that. So I'm going to go over a few settings before we actually get into the content, because changing a few settings right off the bat could make your life a little bit easier as you're trying to use this app. So what we want to do is click on My Account once we're logged in, and then just click on Settings. Two things I want to show you are display options. So there's an option for high contrast, which is really useful if you have any kind of visual preference on your screen. I'm going to check that, and you can see what it does. So it makes the background darker. It makes most of the text white, And then it really highlights a lot of the links and headings to make it a little bit easier to see for some people. If that makes it harder for you to see, feel free to leave that off. The next really important thing is that you can enable a dyslexic font for Libby and Overdrive if that is something that would be helpful for you. And you can see how that changes the font. So if you do experience dyslexia, this is going to make your use of this platform much easier. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. As you can see, you can also edit your content preferences. If you are somebody, I have mine set to all audiences because I'm into everything. If you have no interest in seeing juvenile or young adult content, you can just say general adult or mature adult, and then it won't show you children's books, or vice versa. If you want to use this for your children, you don't want them to see adult books, fiction, nonfiction, you can just select juvenile or young adult or both. All right. So I'm going to go back to the home page here. Things you should know about these ebooks and e-audiobooks. They check out for 21 days. They automatically return themselves, so you don't ever have to worry about your ebook or e-audiobook being late or getting any fees. And you can check out up to 10 titles at one time. So to navigate the site, first, I want to show you this collection, the Lucky Day collection. It's really cool. These are some of our most popular books that tend to have pretty lengthy wait lists, but we have designated certain copies of those books to be up for grabs, and that way you don't have to wait in line. So I'm going to click See All so we can just see what's on the Lucky Day list. So these are all books that have been very, very popular at our library. And you can see the blue bar telling you which ones are available. And then if you wanted to borrow something, let's say I really wanted to read The Dutch House, and I am in line for it, but I just see now, oh my goodness, I can go ahead and grab it. You just would select this borrow button. It's going to tell you this is an ebook, that it is borrowable for 21 days. You know what? I'm going to go ahead, click that borrow button. You can read this several different ways. If you have a Kindle, you would select Read Now with Kindle. That's going to take you out to get it onto a Kindle. Does take a few extra steps than reading it in your browser or on the app. And I'm going to show you a link a little bit later that will make this process very easy for you. So I'm going to skip clicking this right now because we will get to that later. If you choose not to read it with your Kindle, say if I wanted to just look at it on my computer right now, you could click Having Trouble, Read Now in Browser. And if I click that, here's the book right here in the browser for me. This will work very similarly if you are using the Overdrive or Libby app on your phone or your tablet. I'm going to go through some of the navigation as whenever you're actually in a book. So if you click anywhere on the page, it's going to progress to the next page for you. You also can, on the table of contents, click on any place. Let's go to chapter 5. It will take you straight there. You'll see this little bookmark symbol at the top. If you want to hold your place in the book, just give that a click and you'll notice it becomes bigger and it fills in. And that puts a bookmark in your book so you can find it later. You also can click this symbol here with the, you can tell it's supposed to be kind of looking like an open book inside of a circle, to toggle between a single page view or more of an open book view, depending on what your preference is. You can search within the book. If there's any particular thing that you wanted to find, if there's a quote that you remember reading and you just can't quite think of it, but you remember some of the words, go ahead and type that in and find it. If you select these 3 lines here, it gives you more options to view the list of chapters if you'd like to jump around, to view the bookmarks that you've created, to change your reading settings. You can change the size of the text, the color of the pages. I prefer to read on sort of a sepia tone page myself, but if you have a preference between bright, sepia, or dark, you can do that. You can also change the font if there's a particular type of font that you prefer. And again, if you'd like to use the dyslexic font, that setting is here as well, which will actually transfer over into the book itself, not just the website. So I'm going to change it back to the default and leave the book. And to leave the book, I'm just going to close the tab because, as you can see, it just opened itself in a new tab for us. So we can just close that out. It takes us right back to where we were on the Overdrive page. So I'm going to close out of this now and take you back out of the Lucky Day collection to the home page, because I want to show you some other ways that you can navigate the content. The first stop I'm going to make is here. If you do want to put this app on your mobile devices, you can just go straight here and click. If you have an iPhone or a Mac, an iPad, you can click here to download on the App Store. Or if you have an Android device, you can click here to get it on Google Play. If you continue to scroll down, these are all book lists that have been put together by our librarians. So this first one you see is all books about, it's called Seasons Readings, all holiday books for adults and a few for children. These are the newest books that have been added to the collection. Here's a holiday book list for children. Books that have been made into movies, and so on and so forth. Everything all put together by our librarians, and these change really frequently. So you can always check back here for something new and exciting. If you don't want something recommended, if you just want to kind of browse on your own, you can do so by subject, by collection, which will allow you to choose whether, maybe you just want something right now and you only want to see what's available at this moment. So you can do that for ebooks or for audiobooks, any other number of things. And of course, if you have a particular title, I'm so sorry, my screen is doing weird things. I don't know what is happening. If you have a particular title, you can click to search, type in that title, and it'll take you straight over to it. The last thing I want to show you is how to put something on hold here, because Overdrive will have hold queues just like our physical collection. So what I would like to do is, just to make it easier, I'm going to go into one of these book lists where I can find a book that currently has a wait list. And the first one I see here is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. It's not available right now. It lets us know that at the top that there's a wait list, but I can place a hold. So I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to enter my email address. It wants you to confirm, so it can make sure that you've typed it in correctly, and it will send it to the right person. And then just click place a hold. The really nice thing about the digital world is that it will tell me exactly where I am in that holds queue. So I know that I'm number 5. So 4 more people are going to get this book before it makes its way to me. And it says that it's going to email me to let me know. And then if I wanted to look at the rest of my holds, I could click manage my holds. And it will all show up right here. So you can have up to 10 items on hold at once. If you wanted to get to this location at any time without being on that screen I was just on, you would just go to my account and then click on holds. Similarly, if you want to see what you actively have borrowed, My Account, and click on Loans. If you finish a book early before the 21 days has expired and you want to go ahead and return that so the next person in line can have it, which is a wonderfully nice thing to do, you can go to your loans and at the bottom of the book you'd like to return, click the return button. It will ask you, are you sure you want to return this title? And you say, yep, I think I'll do that today, and click return title. And then it's removed from your loans and on to the next person. I'm going to leave Overdrive to go back to darienlibrary.org/digital because this is where you'll find the Read Kindle eBooks link. If we open that up, this lays out exactly what you need to do to download a Kindle ebook from Overdrive. It may be that you go into Overdrive and you can follow the process and not have any trouble at all. But if you do run into any issues, this is going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to make that happen. And it does break down between a regular Kindle and a Kindle Fire because they are two separate instructions. And then if you need further help, we have links out to that as well.
Someone wants to know what's the difference in the options category between a general adult and mature adult.
That is an excellent question. I am not actually sure, but let's see if the help site can tell us anything. All right, so general adult is general fiction and nonfiction. And mature adult is fiction and nonfiction for readers over the age of 18, for example, erotic literature. I don't believe that we purchase any erotic literature for our Overdrive collection. So my gut feeling is that you won't be seeing much difference in the general adult or mature adult collections. I would advise selecting both just in case one book is categorized as one versus the other. But I don't think that there's going to be difference as far as like the PG rating of the content. So the next app that I'm going to talk about is Hoopla Digital. This is one of my favorites. Hoopla is like Overdrive in that it includes ebooks and e-audiobooks, but it goes a little further and also includes e-comics, movies, TV shows, and music. So I'm going to click here, view the Hoopla catalog, and open that up for us. And again, I'm already logged in, but whenever you go to create an account, you'll need your Darien Library card, an email address, and it will ask you to create a password as well. Things to know about Hoopla before we get started are that you can check out 5 items total per month on Hoopla. So that's 5 for the month, not 5 at a time. You can use your computer, tablet, or mobile device to use Hoopla. When you initially create your account, it's going to ask you to identify some genres or content types that you prefer so it can make recommendations to you. So it might ask you what type of ebooks you prefer or what type of e-audiobooks or movies or TV shows you prefer. And you can do that when you set up the account, or you can go do that later in your settings, and you can always change your preferences as well. So I'm going to go over the homepage first. This one is very much tailored to my account. I use Hoopla almost exclusively for reading comics. So as I scroll through, you are going to see only comics, but know that yours is going to look differently than mine because you'll have different preferences than me. So what's happening here is just things that they are advertising, maybe things that are new or things that have tie-ins to stuff happening in the media. I'm going to scroll down and you can see I currently have this comic borrowed. One thing you'll notice, despite the fact that I already have a comic borrowed, is it's still telling me I can borrow 5 more titles this month. And you might think that's weird because the limit is 5. So it should say I have 4 titles left. This comic is part of something that Hoopla started doing back in March called bonus borrows, which are titles that you can borrow that don't count toward your 5-item limit. You'll know when something fits into bonus borrows because it will specify in the description. So if it doesn't say this title is part of the Hoopla bonus borrows collection, then it is going to count as one of your 5 checkouts for the month. If you're somebody who likes sci-fi, I highly recommend this show. It's on HBO, and this is the comic that ties into it. All right, so continuing to scroll down, on your homepage, you will have a recommended for you section. It's going to be based on titles that you have expressed interest in, or not necessarily titles because I haven't read any of these or anything similar to these, but they are all comics, so that's why they're being recommended to me. And then I want to show you the favorites because this is one of my favorite parts of Hoopla. I find myself each month wanting to read more than 5 titles. And I also have a very poor memory. And if I don't have some way to document a title that I want to read, I will forget it. So the cool thing with Hoopla is you can favorite something. So I'm just going to go browse the ebooks collection. And it's going to show you a mixture of adult and children's. But let's say that I am looking at this and I say, oh, you know what? I saw this Virgin River. That's a show on Netflix right now that's really popular. I do think that I want to read that eventually, but not right now. If you click on the item, you'll see a little heart next to the borrow button. And clicking that heart will favorite that item so that you can find it later. And to do that, you'll just go to My Hoopla, Favorites, and it will, the older ones go at the top. So you'll have to scroll down to see more recent ones. And there you'll be able to see. And so then maybe I've already used up my 5 circs for this month. But on January 1st, the first thing I'm going to do is go here and check out Robin Carr's Virgin River so I can finally see what the hubbub is all about. Scroll up. Let's see. So I'm going to illustrate the search function just a bit. So I want to look at movies. Let's say that I am thinking looking through Netflix or any of my other streaming subscriptions and nothing's really catching my eye. I want something different. You can click on Browse Movies and it's going to default to the popular movies. You can change the default. I think it's popularity is what they're ranked as. You can change it to release date, alphabetical, whatever you want. But I want to see what other people that are using Hoopla are watching and enjoying. And as I'm scrolling down, I see my hero, Dolly Parton, in Unlikely Angel. And I think, you know what? That's what I want to watch tonight. So you could borrow it, go ahead and watch that and return it. Or if I say, oh, you know what? I really would like to see other titles that are tagged as holiday. I'm in a holiday mood. You can just click holiday. This is going to give you every piece of music, every TV show, movie, comic, ebook, e-audiobook that has anything to do with holiday. And then you can use the on the left-hand side, this bar to sort of like narrow down what you actually want. So if you think holiday, but I actually just want ebooks, you can click ebooks, and that will pull only ebooks. You can also make it sort by what users have given them, what ratings they've given them. Not everyone gives ratings, so I just warn you with this that like you'll notice even though there are 34 titles, only 23 of them maximum have ratings. Do it by release date, date added, or language, or if you are using this for your children, select children's titles only and get all of those pesky adult titles out of the way. On Hoopla, there are no wait lists and no holds queues. Everything is readily available at all times, which makes it different from Overdrive or Libby. But since you are limited in the number of items, just remember that you can favorite those and go back at a later date to get them. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can click on About to find out all of the different ways you can enjoy Hoopla. So if you have a Roku, you can have a Hoopla app to use. You can use a Chromecast in conjunction with Hoopla, Fire TV, Apple TV, etc. You can link out to all of those right here to make it really easy for you to use on all of your devices. You can put it on your TV. If you have a smart TV, you can download the Hoopla app to that TV, but otherwise you would need something that you plug into your TV, like a Roku or a Chromecast or a Fire Stick.
Thank you. This is a reminder for me to put my Hoopla app on my Roku tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And you can, if you need help with getting those apps onto the TV or using the Roku with Hoopla, there is a built-in help section here that is separated out by the specific type of device that you're trying to use. So they make it as easy as possible for you to get that help. Any other questions? All right. As I said before, if you think of any when we move on, let me know and I can always come back.
Oh, Min wanted to make sure everyone knew there's a bonus borrow category, making the choose and pick a lot easier.
All right, so let's go see that. You can do browse, and then you can go to whatever type of media you want and select categories. And if we scroll down, so for everybody, if you are using, so I'm on the computer and it's not giving me that option, but if you are using the Hoopla app, this bonus borrows collection will be a hyperlink that will take you right into all of the bonus borrows, and you can check out as many of those as you want and it won't count against your 5-item limit. I'm going to skip Acorn TV for now and go into RB Digital. So we're just going to click view the RB Digital catalog. RB Digital contains more than 3,500 magazines, so there's something for everyone, and you can use, as we've said before, your computer, tablet, or mobile device for this. All of the appropriate apps are linked at the top of the page. And again, whenever I'm already logged in, but whenever you initially create your account, you will need your library card number and an email address. There is no limit to the number of e-magazines that you can check out. And the cool thing about RB Digital is that the checkouts don't last for a particular amount of time. They will stay checked out to you indefinitely until you return them. So you can check one out. I think I still have ones checked out from March that are just hanging out in my account. Maybe I'll go back to them, maybe I won't. But you don't have to feel any pressure to return. So you can choose your magazines by genre. If you look here, I will say the display defaults to 12. I don't like that because I like to see lots of things at once. So I just have mine set to 100, and it just remembers me and remembers that that's my preference. So you can choose by category. I will say the ones that you see first, these rank themselves, by what is most popular with Darien Library users. So you are actively seeing the magazines that are getting the most traffic by our community. But if you want to see other genre-based selections, you can just click here on all genres and go straight through. And there are so many different genres to choose from. You could spend hours just looking through all of them. And I recommend doing that because it's fun. I am very into crafting. So I'm going to select craft in a little while, but first I want to show you that you also can select by language. So if you click there, it gives you all of the languages that we have holdings in. So if you wanted a magazine that is written in Italian, just click Italian and it will sort all of the ones that are in Italian. If you are studying Spanish, you want to practice a little bit, here we are, all of our Spanish magazines. So I only can read English. So I'm going to go back to all languages and then select crafts. And here are all of our crafting magazines. I personally am a cross stitcher. So I'm very excited that one of the very first books that I see or magazines that I see is Cross Stitcher magazine. And I actually already have this one checked out. So I'll show you that one a little bit later. But you can just go right down through here and browse. Lots of knitting, lots of cross stitching, lots of quilting, everything that your heart desires. You also can search for a particular title if you have any particular magazine that you're interested in. And as you can see, when you click in, it also is going to give you just an alphabetical list of literally every single magazine in the collection that you can look at if you'd like. Whenever you have something that you want to check out, let's just say I want to look at this Quilting Arts magazine. I'll click on it. It tells you the date that magazine came out, what the magazine is about. It gives you an option to download the apps so that you can read it on your mobile device if you'd like. It also tells you how frequently it's published. It gives you a checkout button. And then another cool thing about RB Digital is that you can check here to automatically check out the next issue. So every time it's published, you'll get an email letting you know, hey, the newest issue of Quilting Arts magazine is now in your account. It'll automatically check out to you and be waiting for you to read it. If you scroll down, you can see all the back issues of the same magazine. Click Show Me More Back Issues, and there they are. And you can check out any of those and keep them for as long as you'd like. If you want to see all of the magazines that you have checked out, you can select My Collection. And here are all the magazines currently on my account. And as you can see, I definitely did check out the New Yorker for March 30th, and I haven't opened it at all. But that's okay because it doesn't make it so that anybody else can't get it. As many people as want can check these out at the same time. So that's great. If you wanted to read the magazine, you'll click this Read Now button. If you want to remove a magazine from your collection, you click this little trash can button. So I want to just open this up and show you what it looks like to read on the computer. It will look a little differently in the app, but mostly the same. So again, sort of the same thing as before. You can just click. I'm going to have to move you guys a little bit on my screen. You can just click this next arrow to open up. It's going to default to a full spread. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there are certain options. So you can click this button to open up and sort of have a thumbnail view if there's anywhere you want to just jump to. So for instance, I'm just going to jump over here to this page. You can bookmark certain pages if you want, just like in the last app that we talked about. So I say, oh, you know what? I like this article. I do want to actually come back to that. So I'll select it and you'll see it puts a little red bookmark on it, and then you can close out. You can also, instead of seeing the page view, you can get a view at particular articles. So if you just want to give it a browse and see if any headlines jump out at you, that will be good. Probably very useful for some of the magazines that are news-based, because you'll be able to really see by the headlines what's going on. Maybe not so much.
Cross-Stitcher has a lot of good puns.
What does?
Cross-Stitcher has a lot of good puns. So
Cross-Stitcher does have a lot of good puns. Yes. You also can view in text mode. So if this is sort of overwhelming to read a magazine format on the screen, you can say, it's going to ask you which of these pages you want to read in text mode. And I want the one on the right because that is an actual article. So I'm going to click In My Hoop, page 21. That's the one I want in text mode. And it will pull it up as just text that you can read, which is really, really nice and easy on the eyes. While you're in text mode, you can edit the way that it appears. So I told you before, I really prefer to read on sort of a sepia background. So I can change that for myself to make it easier on my eyes. If you prefer bright white, you can do that as well, gray or black. You can also adjust the size of the font to as large or as small as you like. This is very helpful. And then if you'd like to get back out of text view, just press that button to go back to the PDF. And if you'd like to print something, especially useful in these crafting magazines, if they provide a pattern or something like that, you can press that print button and go ahead and send that over to your printer. Any questions so far about RB Digital or reading the magazines?
Nothing is in the chat, but if anyone has a question, feel free to ask.
Feel free. So I'm going to just go back to the RB Digital Gateway. So I'm going to close this. Oh, one last thing that I almost forgot. You can zoom in if you're reading on the PDF mode. If you just kind of hover over the content at the bottom here, you'll see the magnifying glass to scroll in. Or if you're using a mouse that has one of those scroll wheels in the middle of it, you can scroll in and out that way. And I'm going to do it very slowly so that it's easy on everyone's eyes. Hi, yes, Susan.
Do you have to have the app, the RD Digital, on your phone or on your computer to get magazines?
You don't have to have it on your computer. I'm just in my regular internet browser right now. But if you are using it on your phone, I think you probably can access it using the browser on your phone, but I would highly recommend using the app instead because it's going to be a much better experience for you that way. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this. You'll see it also opened it in a new tab for us, so I can just close right out. It stays in my collection and I can go back to it if I want, or I can remove it, or I can let it sit there forever, which is what I plan to do. So a note about RB Digital. Now that you are all pros and you are comfortable using it this way and you know exactly what you're doing, I do need to let you know that in January at some point, RB Digital, because it was purchased by Overdrive, all of these magazines will be moving over to the Libby and Overdrive collection. So RB Digital will be no more for us, and all of this will live in Libby and Overdrive. It should be a fairly similar reading experience for you. The biggest differences are going to be that they are going to have a limit on the amount of back issues that they offer. I think right now the back issues are indefinite. They're going to have a 3-year limit on back issues, which is still a lot of magazines that you can read. And they are currently not going to have the option to automatically check the next issue out. So you will have to manually do that. But I do believe I read that they'll consider adding that back in the future once they have their platform ready to go. So just be looking for that. And the best way to find out about that is just by going to darienlibrary.org/digital. Once that happens, we'll have that listed on that page so that you know for sure. The thing you need to know about Acorn TV, IndieFlix, and Quello Concerts is that they all use the same login information as RB Digital. So once you have this account information, you'll use it for all three of these as well. So Acorn TV is the best of British and Australian television, and it also has some exclusive shows. For instance, I just found out from a colleague who is a loyal Acorn TV user that a BBC show called A Suitable Boy, which is based off of a book from 1993, is exclusive to Acorn TV in the United States. The New York Times just wrote about it last week. So if you want to see what all of that is about, please get on Acorn TV, try it out. Acorn TV gives you 7-day access. So at the end of the 7-day period, you get an email telling you that you need to get access again. And it's as easy as coming back here and clicking this button. So this tells you exactly what's on Acorn TV. And when you're ready to go in, you just say, get started. My 7 days has expired. So it says I can watch for 7 more days if I just press this button. So I will do that, nice and easy. And then we are in. Browse through by clicking browse, see what's most popular, what's exclusive, what's original, and go through. I'm going to go click Acorn TV to go back to the home page. I am not an Acorn TV user, so honestly, I am learning this as I show you. If you scroll down, similar to every other platform, you're going to see everything sort of in categories that make it easy as possible for you to find something that you're interested in. Here is A Suitable Boy, which is what my colleague was telling me about. There are currently 3 episodes available, and it comes out every Monday. So you can just keep getting that 7-day access every week if you fell in love with this and you wanted to make sure you could watch it every single week. And if you run into any issues, there's a help option here you can click. And then just like with everything else, your account information is here. So Quello is a resource for music documentaries and recordings of live musical performances. If you are like me and you love concerts and 2020 just ripped the rug right out from under you and being able to go enjoy those, this is a pretty good alternative. So again, it tells you what's in here. And then when you want to go in, you just click Browse Concerts. And they have a little bit of everything, honestly. You can browse by genre. You can search for a particular artist. So if you open up the menu here on the left with the 3 bars, here's your home button, here's the explore button, and then here's your account button. So I'm going to go to explore. It has them all separated out by genre if you're interested. So if I say, oh, I really want to watch a folk concert, you can click there. And it will show you everything that's tagged as being a folk concert. If you want to watch Leonard Cohen, a documentary that covers 1978 to 2006, we got you. If you want Bob Dylan's No Direction Home, got it. You also can search for something. So if I go back to explore, and I'm a big David Bowie fan. So I want to see what they have for David Bowie, which is a lot. And this one is his last performance at London's Hammersmith Odeon in 1973. And I say, you know what? That's the one I want to watch. I'm not going to play it right now for copyright reasons, but you could click this Play Complete Show button, and it would go ahead and start playing up here for you. Alternatively, if there's just a particular track you're interested in, I love Oh You Pretty Things, and I just think I want to see Ziggy Stardust performing that, but I don't really want to watch the whole rest of it. You can just click this, and again, it will start playing here. Now, some of these performances are on platforms like YouTube. The difference is going to be that on YouTube, sometimes the quality is not great because it's people who have sort of recorded them from other pieces of media and then posted them, or you have, you know, a 2-hour performance and no way of knowing when a particular song is. This makes it really easy for you to say, you know what, I want to skip down to Ziggy Stardust and only see that part. This is a more user-friendly platform. And you can also cast this to your TV if you have a Chromecast. You can use an app on your smart TV to watch these. Any questions? All right, so I'm going to press this X here to go out. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Quello is that as it's playing, you can turn on closed captions, and they're very, very accurate. So that's really helpful if you need the closed captions. Just trust that they have actually gone through and manually created those, so they are good to go. And then with IndieFlix, this is for indie movies. So again, the description here, you can click Browse Films. And it's going to look very similar to all the other platforms we have gone over. It normally will pop you onto this. I don't know why it took me to my account info, but it'll take you to this page. As you scroll down, you'll see plenty of categories with different types of movies that you can use, or you can use the search bar in the top to look for a particular type of movie that you're interested in. These are probably going to be movies that, unless you are really involved in film, you may not have heard of because they are all indie. So let's say I am really in the mood for a Christmas movie, which I always am. I'm going to go ahead and search for Christmas. And if my computer will cooperate, which of course it's not going to right now, it would show me a whole page full of Christmas movies. And I know that it would because I did it not 30 minutes ago. But for some reason, it knows that all of you are watching and it wants to make a fool of me. So just pretend that the screen is now full of beautiful, wonderful Christmas movies that I can take my pick of. You would just click on it and you'd be ready to watch. IndieFlix and Quello, I believe, still operate. Well, I think Quello operates on the same 7-day access that Acorn TV does. I think IndieFlix might just be that you can go in and just click on whatever film you want, and you don't necessarily have to renew that 7-day pass every time. Are there any questions about IndieFlix? And I'm so sorry that it's like clearly holding a grudge against me at the moment. And then you would just click on, if you hover over one, you can play it immediately, or you can read more details about it. So Christmas Carol, details, you can watch a trailer to see if you really want to watch it, and then it will give you a short description of what that is, which this one is not super helpful, but I think we all know the moral of A Christmas Carol, so don't necessarily need it at that one. So you can, if we don't own it so with Hoopla, we don't actually select the items that are available in Hoopla. We pay for the package, and then like whatever they put in, they put in. But with Overdrive, we have a lot more control over the content. So if you're looking for a particular item and you search both platforms and we don't have it, you can put in a purchase request. If you go to books and then suggest a purchase, just specify that you would be interested in the e-audio of that book. And then that goes over to our collector, who will maybe be able to purchase that if it's available on Overdrive. It varies. If it is a book that's already released, normally once we purchase it in Overdrive, There's a 24-hour period where it actually gets added into the system and shows up on the website. So then the bigger part of the time is the time it takes for that request to go through and to actually be put into the cart that we purchase to get it into the system. But usually it's less than a week from the suggestion. So it is darienlibrary.org/digital is this website. Just check back here in January. If anything changes, this is where you'll be able to see those changes. This is also where you can get help for any of these. But if you want more personalized help, do feel free to just give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you at the reference desk. You can click here, contact us, and submit the form, or give us a call here, or shoot us an email right here, and somebody will be with you as soon as possible.
Brittany, thank you so much. I'm really excited to explore and see all these new options that I didn't even know existed.
I'm so excited too, and I hope that you guys will let us know if there's anything you find that you're just so excited about, and definitely reach out if you need any help. We are happy to help you with anything.
I hope everyone has a great day. And with the impending snow, please be safe and enjoy a cozy day in with all these digital resources.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.